Guys, so very important what I need you guys to write down and take a lot of notes, because I'm going to be kind of explaining exactly what these levels mean on our Fibonacci. Sorry. All right, so boom. So this level, let's erase this really quick. This level, the 1 and the 0, we're not really focused on that. You know what I'm saying? When we run our fibs, whether it's here or it's here, running it up or running it down, we're not really paying attention to 1. So 1, don't even focus on 1. Don't even worry about 1. We're not worried about 1. This is just basically where we're starting our Fibonacci. I'll explain that in another video. So I'll explain 1 in another video. So over here we have this zone. Let's put that golden. So the 50 and the 618, this right here is what we call the golden zone. So mostly 80% of the time where we buy or we sell is in this zone. It's called the golden zone for a reason, because this is where we try to milk the markets off a retracement. When price comes to this zone, we try to buy or we try to sell in this zone all the time. All the time. 80% of the time, we're taking trades based off what's happening in here. Rejections, candles formations, all of that. So that's what we're kind of paying attention to. That's the golden zone. And then we have this zone right here, the 618 and the 764. Let's highlight that. Let's put it red. I'm going to put it red just because when price gets through here, when price breaks through our 50 and our 618 golden zone to buy or sell, and it starts to kind of range in here or consolidate meaning price is going like this, you know what I'm saying, like just going like this instead of going like that, and it's just only, you know, doing that. When price starts to consolidate in that zone right there, it's kind of like a red flag, like, hey, look, you got to be very careful, because right now we don't know if our trade is still valid. So when price gets in this zone right here, the 618 and the 764, you have to be prepared to lose. You got to be very prepared to lose. But then again, I'm going to explain to you exactly why we have this zone right here, the 764. This line right here, the 764, basically, if price, let's say, did this, a candle came in here, and it didn't do that, and it just went like this, and then it starts to reject this zone. If this zone is being respected in the fact that candles are coming through like this, coming through but closing above here, closing above like that, then this kind of gives me a little bit of a, okay, our trade is still, it's not looking the best, but it's still looking okay. But if price were to come down and close under here, you have to be prepared to lose 100%. So I have this zone right here to kind of give me a little bit of confidence, or give me a little bit of, you know, like, hey, hope, or just a little bit of like, damn, okay, there goes the trade. So the 764 zone, we're only going to use the 764 zone to basically kind of give us more confidence, or to tell us, hey, look, you're screwed. So the 764, I don't really take my entries off there. It's super rare. Probably 20% of the time I'm going to take an entry on there. It's super rare. Super rare. It really depends. But like I said, guys, 80% of the time, most of the time, our entries are in the golden zone, which is the 50 and the 618. The 764 is desperation, worst case scenario. Basically here to let us know, hey, look, you're screwed, or hey, look, we could still win this. We still have an opportunity here. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty good. Then we have the 38. So one thing about 38 is if you get a lot of 38 rejections, like let's say, for example, price were to come over here and close above, okay, we're looking good. But if price were to come up and come down, and then do it multiple times in your trade, one thing about 38 is I call it the 38 rejection just because price tends to reject this level a lot. And it'll either show continuation to one side or just rejection to your side that you want it to go. So like, let's say, for example, we're buying here, but the second that we enter here and then we close here and we take an entry and we buy here and then price comes and closes here, you got to be very very careful about the 38 rejection, because price can either do this and then come back down and still close under, and then next thing you know, your trade is going to go like this. Boom. So one thing about the 38 rejection is you got to be very careful with that zone. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very careful with this number, the 38. Got to be very careful. I don't ever really take trades based off of this level. I know a lot of people, when they see price starting to come down and then they reject this level, kind of like consolidate a little bit and then come back up, you know, that happens a lot, mostly on higher time frames. But we don't take trades off of this zone. We take trades off the golden zone, the 50 and the 618. So what do we have here? We have these four zones right here: the 23, the 0, the 25, and the 618. So the reason I have these two levels here green is because these are my overall take profits. But the 23 is purple just because purple, I don't know, I like purple. But anyways, 23 right here is our first take profit. Every time we take a trade, we try to have at least 4 take profits, because, hey, at least if your price comes to this level and then comes back down, it was still a winner. You still secured profits, and then you had your stops to break even. I'll explain that in a little bit. So if the price tends to come and continue in your favor and wants to keep going, you could use these other 3 zones to kind of target where price is most likely headed to go. So it could come back here to take profit 2, which is a 0, where our Fibonacci ended from where we ran it. Boom, here and here. In this case, we're buying. So we bought from here to here, and we rebought here on the retracement when price started to come back down and pull back down to the zone. And then we bought here. This would be our second take profit. So one thing about this is once you see that zone being hit, 90% of the time when we break take profit 2, 90% of the time we are going to hit take profit 3. 90% of the time. And after take profit 3 is smashed, you got about a 50-50 chance it's going to hit take profit 4. After it hits take profit 4, there you can consider the move completed. After that, boom, you can just let it go, and that's it. Your Fibonacci move is completed unless you want to hold it to another level, which we will talk about those levels. So basically, that is what our zones are about. So we have our golden zone. We have our 764, which basically, you know, kind of makes us get into a little panic to, hey, look, is our strategy still, is our trade still valid? Okay, no, we're good. You know, we don't really enter there. You can enter there if you have a rejection, but, you know, I'll explain that in the video. And we have our 38, which is basically rejection or continuation. We have take profit 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is basically a video. This is just basically a video of me explaining how we use the levels in this Fibonacci. So make sure to rewatch this as many times as possible to understand these zones, because it's very important to understand these zones. Very important. Now, in this next video that I'm going to show you, I hope you guys take mad notes, because I'm going to be explaining to you guys exactly how we're going to be running this tool, this Fibonacci retracement tool. So it is very important. Like I said, my foundation was basically built off of this tool. So pay very close attention, guys. Take a lot of notes, man. If you guys have any questions, you guys can send me a message through Instagram or send me an email. It'll be easier on email just because I get 100+ DMs a day. So you guys can send me an email, or if you guys are already in the community on Discord, hey, send a message, man. All the savages, man. Everybody helps each other, man. We have a really good, strong community. So I really hope you guys have a good time in there, man. You know, we go through a lot of trade ideas. We post our profits. You know, we have fun. You know, so to wrap it up, guys, this was just a video explaining what these zones are, how we use them, what they're used for, and now let's get straight into it, how we're